Patrick, and this is Brian. Together we just got played. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. We're at the Cloak and Blaster, playing some games and drinking some beers. Tonight, we're playing Jim by Paco Games?
Paco Games, yeah.
Paco Games. Join us for Jim by Paco Games. Brian, tell us all about Jim for Paco Games.
Sure. Actually, Jim is by Chris Handy of Paco Games, and
Not Jim?
What?
Not Jim. It's Chris.
No, it's Chris. It's a handy
name.
Paco Games. And anyways, Jim is a two-player game, although you can play team variation, so you can have 4 or 6 players as well. And Jim is one of one of the set of the different Paco games that are going to be coming out in this next Kickstarter release. And the whole game is contained in this box right here, which is this small, cute little box. And I didn't count the number of cards, but it's like around 24, 30 cards, something like that. And it's set in gymnasium class. The theme is set in like a gymnasium class, elementary school grade, something like that. And each of the players is assuming the role of like a team captain. And throughout the course of the day, there's going to be a number of sporting events that are going to take place. So the game, there's basically 2 phases to the game. There's the drafting, like who's going to be on your team, and then there's the actual assigning of the characters to the actual events, and then scoring who's going to win those actual events. During the drafting phase, each player basically just takes a turn drafting whichever character that they want to. Each one of the characters has 2 different events that they're going to do really well at, and they're going to have numerical values, and those are going to be worth a number of points. So when they're assigned to that event, if it corresponds to that event's color, whichever player is going to have the highest number of points at the end is going to be able to score their net points against the other player. However, you're also going to, whenever you place one of your characters, you're going to be able to trigger either the ability that is associated with the event itself, or with the ability that's contained on the character's 2 events that he's good with. So potentially you could have up to 3 abilities. You're only going to be able to activate 1, but you might be activating from 3 different abilities or less, depending on the number of abilities that they can trigger. Because
the bully card only has 2 abilities, but his bully ability is to move the coach, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, exactly. And some of these abilities might be. They might allow you to pick up any character off the board and replace it with one from your hand. They might allow you to steal a player card at random from the other player and then give them one of your choice. Swap 2 of your guys, or like alternate. So there's a number of different abilities, which is kind of cool for replayability and things like that. Where the bullies get interesting is in the initial drafting phase. If you draft a bully, then what that also allows you to do is to move along one of the events on the track. Because I think there's 6 events to start off with, and then you're only going to be playing with the top 4 events by the end of the draft. So that's going to change every game that you play, which 4 events are going to be scored. And then the bullies, when you go to play them later on, during the activation phase or the playing phase, whenever you play a bully, that allows you to still trigger your event's ability, or the bully's ability, and it also allows you to activate one of the coaches. So you could bring him in from the sidelines, or you could bring him in for a current position where he is. And what the coach does is that still allows players to play their first initial character during their play, but it stops any other subsequent activated abilities from swapping characters on that side or whatever. So they kind of reduce the chaos that can happen. So that's the bullies, that's the abilities, the events, and the players. So with all of that, Patrick, what would you say is your favorite thing about Jim?
The amount of strategy and tactics in this tight, tiny little box is amazing. The depth of this thing is incredible. I cannot believe that all that fits in that box. It's really, really cool. It is a hard strategy game, almost 0 luck. So if I'm going to pick one thing, this is a brain burner if you want to go that direction with it. This is a tough, great, easy to understand, tough, great little game. And if there's one thing that you really like about it, what is it?
The thing that I like best about Jim is the replayability. Usually with a lot of these small games that you think are light and fast to start off with, usually you get tired of playing them really quickly because there's not a whole lot to them. But this one, actually has quite a bit of replayability because of the different events that you can move forward. You know.
You mentioned that with Imperial Harvest that you felt like it's the same way. This almost takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, especially relative to the size of the box.
The game got smaller and the replayability got a little bit bigger.
Yeah. With that, what would you say is the thing that you like least, though, about Jim?
There's not much I don't like about it. So if I have to pick something, I'm not going to pick the lack of luck because it went pretty smoothly. I'm going to pick the fact that maybe it might have reminded me of when I was a kid and I got picked last in gym class. Because that happened more than once. So I'm going to say the theme, thank you. Thank you for being sympathetic.
You're welcome.
I'm going to say
it's empathetic, so.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, empathetic. I'm going to say
empathetic.
It's the hypothetically empathetic. I'm
Sympathetic, empathetic.
I'm going to say it's that.
Okay.
That I am picking kids last, and it makes me sad. And if there's one thing that you did not like,
the one thing that I didn't like is it was the box. The box is kind of misleading because you think, oh wow, look at okay, yeah, I'll play this little game or something like that. It's only going to take like 10 minutes or so, and I was riddled with a little bit of analysis paralysis. I mean, the game took longer than I thought it would, and I basically underestimated it based on the size of the box from the beginning of the game. So that's what I would have to say. But if you're prepared for that, it shouldn't be an issue. But
right. Well, the art makes it. You think it's a light game. The size makes you think it's a light game. It is not a light game.
Yeah. So again, Paco Games will be coming to Kickstarter very soon, and Jim will be contained within that Paco Games.
I'm Patrick. This is Brian. Together, we're Just Got Played. Thank you very much for watching. It did remind me of maybe getting picked last in grade school.
Yeah.
I wasn't great at some sports. I was picked last at football.
Football.
Yeah.
Weren't you picked first in climbing the rope?
Yeah. Well, I could climb the rope. That's for sure. Soccer. I was picked last at soccer. Volleyball.
What about hockey?
Hockey. Yeah, I was picked last at hockey.
They had hockey in Vero?
Yeah, we played on a tennis court.
Oh.
Tennis. That reminds me. Tennis. I was picked last at tennis. Yeah. Bowling.
Foursquare. Remember that one?
Yeah. Picked last at Foursquare. Yeah.
Now, what's the one with tetherball?
Tetherball? Well, nobody would play with me, so I did pretty well at that one.
Yeah.
God. Gosh,
Napoleon? No, that was Napoleon.
What kind of production is this?